that for what you will. Let's see. There we go. Sorry, I'm all out of sorts. All right. Let's see. That's right. Right off the bat, Mitchell attacks Jordan, and Jordan is practicing every bit of self-defense he's ever learned to keep himself safe from Mitchell. Most likely, real manly stuff. All right, it's got me and Nick and Mitchell on Jordan's back, but a little sloppy back take for Mitchell. I expect better out of you, Mitchell. As he rolls, he doesn't really get this hook in. It allows Jordan to kind of hop over and really stay safe. So now Jordan has to, or Mitch has to do what he can to not give up the position and try to recover the hooks. So we've talked a lot about passing over the last week and a half with half guard. So I'll try to highlight some of that stuff as I see it. Nick liked that little back step. I showed it to him yesterday, so hopefully we start seeing him hit that on everybody. An easy back take for Jordan there. How'd you get that set up? Yeah, Mitchell's just kind of really committed down the body. And I don't think he realizes how much his back is exposed here. And good control over that left arm to keep Mitchell from being able to get safe again. And with that, Jordan can take control. And he hits a Katagatame from the bottom. Nice. Good adjustment. Mitchell could have just tried to turn into close guard, which it looked like he was attempting to do. What's up, Joe? Why's Mitchell? Okay. Mitchell's just letting you work from his super open guard, he calls it. Yeah, he told me that too. He's like, super open guard. It works as well as his panda guard does, I think. Joe almost with the trip, kind of from distance. Yeah, Jason was just about ready for that one. Yeah, and I would say not much of a setup up top, right? Jason's pretty square. His head's centered over his feet. His head's not backwards, like set up for the Asotogari. I'm glad you didn't end up belly flopping there from that. It's all good. It's all good. Put that power into it, and when you don't whiff it, he's going down. Craig over there working some double under passing on Luke. Get right here. Luke's just regarding by turtling up right now. So good pressure from Craig. Jumping crucifix back take. Let's see, what am I doing with Nick? He's got me in top half guard. Just because it's half guard, let's see what I did here. Went to a standing position, kind of a split squat, leg up the middle. Okay. Here I'm kind of sitting back on his legs, trying to get my bearings a little bit. I've got a hand fight to deal with, so I don't want him being able to pull the legs up or get me off balance while I fight that hand fight. So Mitchell's got to be really careful here with his hands extended. I think this is Darce territory for Jordan. Even though he's got a hand fight to deal with. He's got that free right arm could have sunk in a Darce, and then all Jordan has to do, we saw him doing it here a little bit, which I really, really like, using the knees to pin the arms and try to free his grip. With a Darce threat in, he probably would only have to fight one of those arms, and that's a losing battle for Mitchell. Jason with a nice little tie up here, a little lateral drop. He's got the collar tie and an overhook. Pushing into Joe. Joe's pushing back. We can see Joe's head ahead of his feet, so he's definitely leaning forward. Jason sits. Good turn. Good pinch on the elbow, so Joe's going to have a hard time basing out. And then whipping him around enough to get the takedown. But Joe on the counter here. Let's see if he can get his guard back. Jason kind of moving backwards here into half guard. And Joe's octopus legs managing to get him a hook. 2 hooks, rather. And get on the back. I'm sure Jason is kicking himself right now. Nick sweep me. So Nick with a good regard from side control. Oh, okay. I go to step over. He captures my leg. Just gets the hip height that he needed to get the turn. So Brooke taught a really good move yesterday that I liked, and I think it could apply here, Jordan. With this, let's see. I can't remember what she did. Okay, yeah, she had an overhook on the leg like you have, and then she went over the head and used an S grip to connect her hands for a cradle. And then from there, if you're caught in half guard, which you're not caught in half guard, but I'll share it anyway. If you were, you could use that grip to kind of sprawl out. So you're using the overhook to keep his leg isolated up high, and the sprawl of your other leg and the drop of your hip on that sprawl to put pressure to open the legs up, and then you could use a foot wedge to step out. So if you like this overhand grip that you're doing, try coupling it with wrapping the same overhand grip on the head, and then set up a cradle and see how that works for you. It's really, really great against people who like to dive on deep half and who aren't playing a really stretched out far kind of game, not trying to push away from you. Other Jordan on a leg lock of sorts. Let's see what he's got here against Joe. Setting up a Rimi Ashi, gets Joe down. This is good. I think Joe knows he's in some trouble here. Then on to the heel hook. Nice finish. Really good sweep. Good movement from Mitchell to get out of that north-south. What's Tall Joe doing over there? Okay, so he's gone from back. Looks like Jason got the shoulders free. Nice. Joe's following him up. Okay, loses back but retains mount. Yeah, I would, sorry, I just saw your message, Jordan. It kind of couples nicely with like the threat of a guillotine. I talked about this a little bit as well yesterday at class. You know, there's loose passing, tight passing, and then passing with the threat of a submission. And what you're doing, I know when we saw Tom up in Ohio, he kind of downplayed the overhand grip, like the guillotine threat on the head. I can't recall his reasoning, but like I still find myself using it. Obviously, you know, we're not going against like, you know, the number one guy in the world, so like maybe there's some vulnerability that I'm not seeing there. But I do find some success with it as well. So adding that into with the cradle, or just really maybe you get a good clean shot on the head. Like you can wrap up that guillotine and use that to pass even if you don't get the submission. Looks like Jason got himself safe. What do you do here? Creating some movement, trying the Mitchell escape. Okay, just gets Joe off balance enough. Heists up. It's good. And Jordan with the straight arm on Yosef. Let's see what they got here. So I want to go back a little bit with Jordan. So crowding the butterfly. Just want to see how he passes. So really, really good control over the hips here. Got his head across side. Now he can start climbing the body. He ends up in half guard, but he's in a fairly good position for half guard. Joe's not totally flattened out. Okay, you know what? I like what Joe's doing. Jordan is in a bit of trouble here. I didn't see this Kimura setup as it was happening. Yeah, this is a good move from Joe. It backfires on him, but... Oh, man. Yeah, Joe's... you know, size is definitely a factor here. As Jordan is TPing up and trying to flatten him back out. Yeah, that's tough, man. Joe, you're in a really good spot there. I think you just didn't get Jordan off balance enough. Like, you really moved yourself a lot, which is good. But with Jordan able to retain his base, he could kind of just wait for the right time, like right here, to start slipping his elbow and getting safe. I think lost a grip there, and now he's into side control. I think that was still a good attempt, Joe. I like that one. Try to get an S mount, but yeah, okay, that makes more sense. So as you went up for it, he timed a good buck to get you off. And then Jordan onward to the straight arm. Mitchell just spin the leg. He did. He didn't set up. I'd like to see that right leg of his, like it's back here, right? We kind of want to get it into a slightly better position before we spin that leg, just to make sure it's in a prime spot to lock up a figure four or whatever configuration you like from there. But as he spins the leg here, I think it's a little too close. It's like very under the other leg and probably difficult to maneuver. So his leg connection is a little weak here. Joe on the knee bar. Seconds left. Can he get it? Good angle from Jordan to shut that down. Yeah, Joe's just a little high on the knee. Good first round. Man, Jordan wanted to be a celebrity tonight, huh? Front and center every round. Diving for a deep half on Ronnie, splitting the legs. That's true. Our subs go up when you spend more time in the middle. That's cue for everybody to sub if you haven't. Oh, I wanted to kick Austin's legs out from underneath him. I won't. I'll delete your message so when he watches the replay, he won't see it or hear it. Tried to roll through for a guillotine on Austin, but he's super scrambly. Got in my way. Wasn't working. What are these two up to? Jordan with a big turn here. Another good example of what I see you guys do a lot with these side control. This might be from half guard. I can't really tell. But watch how Jordan emphasizes getting Craig's head down to the mat before he does anything. Right here, he knows he can get the turn if he keeps his head really, really low. And then it's easy enough with that. I mean, just with a hip frame and a bridge, he's able to get Craig moving. And it tries the lateral. Or maybe more of a head throw. Luke giving Pat the business. Makes sense. Brooke doing Brooke things. I hate when she does that. Locking up. So here's the deal. When Brooke does this, so this is Andrew off the screen here. Base is a little wide, right? If we think about trying to send somebody down the body, if they're like gripping onto us in close guard, I hope you guys know what I'm talking about here. But Brooke has basically just like retained her close guard and is, climbing up Austin, or I'm sorry, Andrew. If you have that wide triangular base though, trying to get her to slide down the body to get out of this close guard, you're fighting against your own body. So narrow your base up a little bit. She's off the ground, so she's not going to grab your ankles. There's no concern there. And then you can go back to that same sort of like hands on the knees, little bounce to push her down. And she's either going to adjust, open the legs and try to like get to a better position, or she'll hold on and you can probably step a leg out pretty easily. It is. You really just have to be confident. Like that's the number one thing that I think I'm pointing out with you guys with standing guard breaks. Say tied for number one is not working from an upright posture and having a really wide base. And in that specific case where someone's climbing you, Brooke's the only one in the school who does that. It would really, really make sense for you to narrow your stance up a bit and just like get comfortable with not having to worry about it. I don't like that. Just personally, I don't want to look at that. Joe, you're over. Okay, you and Jason are working. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, wasn't your knee like didn't it pop in advanced class or something popped and then in fundamentals you were talking about how it hurt and then you're doing that? Nice. How you feeling? Is it swollen and flared up right now, or Austin almost calf slices me here. It's tricky. So Austin goes all the way underneath me. He's got this gnarly figure four on my legs. I think the good thing is that it is this leg on the outside. If that was the leg that was across, I might be in a bit more trouble, possibly. But then here, if he could have gotten his hands up around my hips, I probably would have been in some real trouble. Fortunately, that's on my good knee. Ronnie turtling up, but giving Jordan the hooks as she does so. Craig, meanwhile, trying to keep Big Jordan at bay. Looks like he's really trying to use a 2-on-1 grip to get Jordan's arm across. I imagine it looks like he's trying to take it across the body, set up maybe, okay, triangle, something. Just keep in mind, Craig, because I'm not seeing it, you know, pulling people's arms it's a pretty easy battle to like stalemate, right? We each have 2 arms, and when we're working from close guard, it's easy to strip grips or match a 2-on-1 grip. Use your knees. Make sure you're engaging your core, pulling them. Give them a reason to make them want to base out. That's when you can manipulate an arm a bit more easily. If you're just trying to pull and they're trying to keep their elbow close to their ribs, you're going to burn your own arms out, and you're probably not going to get much movement out of that. But with those knee pulls, you can use the full strength of your core. Craig on an omoplata here. Jordan looking a little unfazed before I said in trouble. That's a little disheartening. Jordan's like, all right, I'm done playing. Yoink. It's nice. This would possibly be a good opportunity, like right as this happens, you see Jordan commits to this underhook and his knee can be blocked here. This might be a good time for like a knee lever or a John Wayne sweep, whatever you want to call it. Brooke with a triangle over here. It's just off screen though. Gassy sweep. Yeah, Andrew, you got triangle, bud. You just barely see it. Oh, Gacy. John Wayne Gacy sweep. Got it. Yeah. That's a different kind of sweep. Austin almost guillotining me. Going real high up with the leg. We talk about throwing the geometry lesson. I like that. We talk about throwing the leg up over the body when we're going on guillotines. I normally don't like to say more is better with a lot of stuff in jiu-jitsu, but I think Gary Tonin showed this when he was here giving a seminar. I want to say in like one of the questions that was asked, or maybe as he was demonstrating the high wrist guillotine he was showing us. At one point, I recall he even threw that leg up over the shoulder, just like Austin's doing here. You get that high up, it's just more room for your leg to engage and like push down and counteract that pulling force that you're applying, and the twisting force really from a guillotine. So it's a nice move from Austin to adjust up even higher. Sorry, how did that end? It looks like Jordan via smother. Oh, no, okay. Jordan via straight arm or Americana. Got it. We're going to start calling Austin the geometry teacher since he likes his triangles so much. Brooke Thackeray. like Ronnie's teaching you a lesson right now, Jordan. How did she get here? Did you guys? Okay, so you fell off the back. Relocate. She passes with this heavy pass. Getting that leg up on the shoulder. That's really good. Slinking by. Alright, me and Jason. It's funny seeing Jason now against me versus against Joe earlier. I could see him trying to set up that same throw that he hit on Joe, trying to dig with that overhook. And then this is, you know, just the way I'm not saying it shuts down that specific move, but I mean, you could tell a lot like what he did earlier. It required coming towards me, sitting down underneath me and rolling me. If I could keep his hips away, even as he has that underhook, or I'm sorry, the overhook, I could at least shut that down. It doesn't mean he can't like still use it against me and progress. But you guys know how hard it is to move or throw somebody when your hips aren't near them. That's kind of a center point in judo, right? You see those guys getting really close to their opponents typically, and then moving them. There, he got me pretty good too, Joe. Let's see how he gets behind me. So I go to 4-point. He runs the back, chases me down, which is really good. He doesn't let me get my hips away. And I can't back elbow him like I did Caleb because that's not allowed. So now, good trip, throws me back. Now I am at risk of getting flattened out. I want to keep his head on this side. Well, let me take that back. If he gets his head on this side of me, he's got me inside control, right? So you guys often will see me doing this where I'm trying to pressure to keep the head and the hips on one side of the body as I kind of figure out what to do next. I can't really move Jason as effectively as I wish I could. But here I at least feel somewhat confident that he thrashes my confidence by setting up this Katagatame strangle. Joe trying to do some geometry as well. Oh, it switches to a bicep slicer. Okay. I wonder if that was bicep slicer or if he was just trying to extract Ronnie's arm. See, Joe, you got Pat over there. Yeah, like this would be an apt moment to try that cradle half guard pass. I don't know why I went for that Kimura. Even that like hurt my shoulder. I wasn't even fully committed on it. Joe's on a 50-50 attack with Ronnie. I think I hit an arm drag from here, and that changes the tide. Oh, not yet. What happened with Joe? Ah, okay. Diving straight ankle. Joe really took his time before he sent it. That was nice. Rather than just diving on it early. Got it where it was fully exposed and was able to go on the attack there. I just want to see. Yeah, Ronnie not doing too much to counter here as far as like setting up a counterattack. Probably kind of difficult being flattened out. That was nice, Joe. Tall Joe over here with Pat, or yeah, it's Pat. He looked like Luke as he was falling, and I was gonna be super stoked if you like hit Luke with some more freshness. Again, setting up your Sotogari, you're still not, in my opinion, not getting Pat off balance enough here. It works out for you, right? Because I think you charge him a bit. Okay, or maybe he's turning and then he can't move that leg as he goes. Hard to say because he's falling away from the Asotogari, right? Like normally they're gonna fall this way. He's falling this way. But either way, you get him down. You know what you got. I love that you jump past his legs. You don't just settle into half guard or settle into an open guard position. You saw what you had when it presented itself. Nick working a double under, but Luke using that similar grip to what we saw Joe doing. Now he gets that arm extracted, pulls the arm back in from a double under pass attempt, and that sets him up perfectly for a triangle. Really, really good option. Normally, I just find myself like hanging my weight on their shoulders and trying to get them off balance and like shoulder walking away. This is a much more counter offensive approach. I really like this. Get that arm in, set up the triangle, or shit, straight arm. Luke goes Udigatami there for the finish. Joe diving on a Kimura. Looks like I hit that arm drag finally. Jason rips out of my shoulder crunch. And that was all I needed to start switching up and going on the offense. He let out an audible yell of disgust in himself when I when I got that. Should add to. We're sweaty here. I think I tried an arm drag on him earlier and it slipped right off. Notice I'm trying to get as high up on the shoulder as I can. If I go low to the elbow, there's no rash guard there first off, so prone to like sweatiness. The rash guard doesn't provide so much friction that it makes or breaks the move. But more importantly, the closer you are to the shoulder, the more pull and turn of their body you can get. You can turn their body, you can expose their back. So if you find that your arm drags are lacking, maybe you're not hitting them as well, maybe they're slipping off a whole lot, you're likely not turning them. You may be pulling their arm across, but if you aren't getting them to turn, you're not really effectively arm dragging them. So aim high for the shoulder with that like underhooking, scoop grip on the armpit, and you can get the back exposure you need. Joe again working this Kimura, moving himself rather than his opponent. Works out a little bit better for him this time. Still has to get that bottom hook in. There he goes. Gets it when he can. It's nice, really nice attack. So Rodney goes figure four grip. Okay, he rips it out. Good. That's a nice, really good transition, Joe. First time I've armbar Jason in forever. Similar to Joe, I was copying Joe here, so working from the back. On this transition, the only reason I told Jason this, the only reason this worked for me is because his grip came loose. I think he tried to hit like a hitchhiker, right? He was gonna, from there, he tried to extend his arm and then start his roll. I was able to just retain enough control over the shoulder line and barely keep his elbow in. I mean, it's just about slipped out from there. But I think we all know if Jason kept his grip together, he was probably going to get out of that sooner than later. Certainly before I would be able to break it. Try to go for a cutback single here, but he's got a really good sprawl. Goes to run behind me, but I managed to just roll the guard. Franny not taking another armbar from Joe. Absolutely refusing. And Andrew refusing to let Jordan pass. Oh, Andrew has a very good round here. Really trying to focus on my knee-elbow connection. You can see once I get by, that's where my pass happens. So I really can't emphasize that enough. I know I talk about it when I'm teaching passing with open guard or half guard. But right here, hand to the hip, my knee and elbow are connected. His leg is on the outside. That's all I'm looking for. Now, I feel pretty confident. You can see I have this hand down here kind of checking his bottom leg. Head to the far shoulder. Just stepping through, sliding in. See that little shoulder move I did is just to like take the shoulder frames away so I could close the distance. Boom, boom. And then now I got a grip. I've got his arm collapsed. Even though I don't have an underhook, I can go, I can start looking for it when I'm ready. So right there, I can get in, settle into my position. Did Ronnie sit? No, she did not sit. Okay. Pat looking for a big trip there. Ronnie trying to play some X guard, it looks like. Praying that she could get this leg a little bit closer. And now Luke's sprawling out enough to get it back. Good sweep from Andrew. Catching me way off balance, or getting me way off balance and taking advantage of it. And a good sprawl from Pat as well, as Joe shoots on that double under the clock there. Yeah, I think your shot was just a little late, Joe. I mean, you had the arm on the leg, your level was changed, and then as you drove forward, he was ready for you. Andrew's been getting proficient with his high mount and triangles, that's what's going through my mind right now. As he's riding higher on this, I don't want him to step over and do a triangle like he got me with last week, I believe. Maybe the week prior. I like to, when you guys get to blue belt and then you start finding your groove with moves and you hit me with something, I want you to know I do my damnedest to only ever let you get it once and never let it happen again. So a mounted triangle, Andrew, if you ever get one on me again, even though you finished it with the arm bar, it was fully earned, and I'll secretly be very mad that you got it, but I'll tell you how good it was. The 100%, man. That's a good way to say it. We got 2 triangle attempts going on here that seem to be falling apart. Let's look at this. Okay, not quite a triangle. Luke's really inverted here. Ronnie's straddling the Luke's right leg, so he's unable to get to a triangle. Meanwhile, Joe wants a triangle, but he's got that leg pinned as well. So different different version of the same problem, not being able to get that other leg to a workable position. Yeah, I mean, dude, I want you to. I mean, all joking aside, if you can hit me with the same move over and over again for as long as you're doing jiu-jitsu, like, it means my defense has to get a lot better, and it means your offense is like super good. So, but then here, again, we're going through a little foreshadowing. Andrew sits back on this straight ankle from half guard. A little dangerous here, man, just because like your leg wasn't hidden. I'm not going to say I was like about to do anything to you. I have a grip, but I don't have any control over your hips. And in fact, as you start switching up, I'm like, all right, screw my counter that isn't even that good anyway. I need to roll, get out of this. Second leg interference, trying to kick your leg or kick your grip off of my leg. Luke has meanwhile made his way to the back with the rear triangle and just has to get that arm elevated, unless he goes on a different kind of attack, which is perfectly reasonable. All right, we're gonna have to look at this again. And Andrew gets the tap on the straight ankle there. The setup, though. So I don't like this because I normally feel kind of safe here. So where I'm messing up, I'm not getting my knees to the ground and my hips up. I feel like that kind of allows you to turn this corner. And that's where you go for the leg. Okay. Honestly, it hurt here. like right through here as we, I never advise people to roll through like belly down when you're trying to escape straight ankles. But Andrew, like, just by virtue of the entrance, Andrew, you had me there, whether I liked it or not. So that right here, all of your weight is on the ankle. This is like, Peters would be stoked if he saw this. This is how he likes to finish these. Nice elbow down. I wouldn't advise rolling to your back. I don't know if this was, the moment where I was tapping and you were going out of it. I would just say, just to make it even more miserable, stay right here. Get your grip. Think about leaning more in this direction, right? You kind of, if I say belly down is a place I don't want to be, if you think about rolling towards belly down, you're not going to get there, but roll towards it. That's kind of a good, really, really powerful finishing position. But either way, man, definitely a very tight straight ankle. I tap to those, unlike Luke and Mike. So they may have just looked at you and been like, "Yeah, it was pretty tight." Yes, they are, man. Which is really, really good too, man, because I feel like in the last, 6 months, I've seen you working Darces. You're working your triangles from mount. I think regular triangles as well. If I recall, I think I've seen you throwing up a few of these through the streams over the last few months. And then now, you definitely need to have some confidence with your lower body attacks. I mean, you should be proud of how they're progressing. So you've got a real good full body range that you're playing with here. And when one doesn't work, now the fun part that you get to learn is how to tie them together. When a triangle fails, how open are the legs? When that Darce doesn't work, you probably have an easy pass. Like the little things that you can use to advance for when those submissions don't come quite as easily. Couldn't let you have that one for free, though. Not going to let you get away with it. I was actually kind of stoked on this armbar, just because of the angle. I like armbars that traverse angles, like just putting you on your back and bending your arm is kind of vanilla, right? So now here you're stacking into me. I'm having to go all the way through this, and then I'm not even finishing it in a traditional way. I've got more of a closer to like the shoulder Senkaku, shoulder triangle you hear Gordon Ryan talking about, except I don't even have the triangle. I'm just trying to pin you with my leg connection, as weak as it may be right now, and then finding the right direction for the arm, which again we find with the opposite direction of where the thumb's pointing. I break this way, no matter which way it points, I break against it. That was a great round. Super fun. I was definitely limping into this round with Luke. Yeah, I honestly didn't either. I mean, like the end, like to call it an entrance, like I couldn't instruct that, right? It's just kind of, I mean, I'm working from basically a closed guard. I mean, open guard. I have opened my closed guard at this point, and then just gotten to an angle. This is really similar to your standard closed guard armbar. You're just really stacking into me. When someone stacks you in an armbar, you want to invert underneath him and come out the other side. It's the best way to do it. I'm not going to stay on my neck, right? I'm not going to let you put me up on my neck. So I have to go under you and out that direction. And that's what happened here. My leg connection was just kind of subpar in my opinion. But yeah, that's really all that was. So just inverting. It just looked fancier than it was. What's up, Perp Daddy? Nice high treetop single there, Joe. A little trip to finish it off. Make me. Dude, don't come back here from your little beach vacation all jacked and tan thinking you could come into my chat and push me around. You probably weigh 220 right now after all that food you're eating. So this was not fun. He probably straight up made out with the sun. He's redder than a hot dog right now. Always hate getting triangled by Luke. Using that same grip to try to pry my arm out of the grip. I'm sitting here like this, trying to like push his hips away to give my neck some room to, operate and not have its vasculature closed. This is the adjustment he needed where I was like, all right, I'm done. Oh, he also punched me in the face, like really hard. Like let's see if we could find it. It was when he goes for this overhook. I just want to put him on blast right here. That was it. That was it. He bloodies Baker's nose later, but he just watch this. See, that was totally purposeful, and you can't tell me otherwise. I said to him afterwards, I was like, "You only got that because you punched me in the face." But up, super tight triangle. Then he boops me and hits another takedown. What sucks about defending these smothers from Luke is I often just kind of give myself a little face mask, right? Little like Hannibal Lecter face mask. Problem is, when I get up here, it leaves an open elbow. So it gives him an opportunity to try to elevate my arm above my shoulder line and advance his attack, right? That's a really good example, real small but good example of what I tell you guys when I say, smothers may not work for you. Like for me, I don't think I've ever smothered anybody. but they elicit reactions that you can take advantage of. That's a good one that I think Luke tries to catch pretty frequently on me. Nick on a single. Joe with the re-roll. Can he get his hips up? What was that? Oh, not just a re-roll, but a guillotine too. I didn't even see that. So Nick had his head on the outside here. Actually, did he? Or I'm sorry, he had his head inside, but I think on the roll here, looks like it slips out. Joe takes full advantage of that. Knows what he has. Switches to a guillotine. Nice move, Joe. All right, so I guess since we talked about half guard passing, let's watch me be made an example of. So here I'm in 3/4, managing to get somewhat safe. Working my way back, but I'm in a flattened out half guard now. Trying to get Luke off balance enough to like get a frame in. I just kind of pummel it in gracelessly. You see me make a switch there for, like, I went lockdown, and then I said, no, sir. Really don't feel like I can lock down on that side. So Luke's got me on, like, my weak side right now. And then he makes his way back to 3/4. And now I'm on my better half guard side. Luke with the pass. So I've tried to emphasize I should be annoying you guys with how much I've been saying it the last week and a half, but the goal in half guard, get your opponent flattened out, get chest to chest, then work your legs free. That's exactly what Luke does here. So he doesn't even have the underhook, right? We're not fighting the underhook battle right now. My elbow's pretty tight, but he's got the crossface. He gets me flattened out with some forward pressure, and then is working to get his leg free. Little hip switch there, and he's passed. Like, it's all predicated on that pin, that chest to chest, flattened out pin. And he goes ninja roll. I say sick, bro. I know we're short on time. What'd you do at the end there, Joe? Did Nick sit to guard? Okay. Sits to guard. He's looking to play some De La Riva, some reverse De La Riva. Yeah. That was good passing, Joe. I mean, like, there wasn't anything magical or technical about this. Like, you're making connection. Good step in, like a little crescent step right into the hip. Close that space so his knees can't come back in. That was good, man. That's just good, fundamental, simple movement. I think Joe and I get this round, maybe. Me too, man. Simple is, low energy, high reward. That's the best kind of jiu-jitsu. And you're getting the sweep. And Austin keeping that guard in. I just want to see this again, just for my own ego. So over tie slide by here onto the back. Didn't opt to like snap down. Instead, just kind of stayed upright, attack the back. And then Joe tries to circle up. And then just slanging him on down. Send a pick, dude. You're not gold. You're more bronze. Good off balance by Joe. See why this worked. I mean, again, talking about simple, like you'll see Joe kind of load up, push this way, and then quickly change directions right there. Goes back. Luckily, I get my legs free. Otherwise, that could have been bad. And then hit him with a tripod sweep. This was a different variation than the one I taught a couple weeks ago, I think. Was it? Maybe not. No, that was the same one. Austin making a quick adjustment to that standing guard break attempt, going under the leg instead of the double ankle sweep. Can he get the turn? Andrew's elbow is just far back enough. This is how short guys can do tripod sweeps. Like my hand is like behind me. I'm trying to get as far as I can on this leg before I even think about extending that leg. Keeping the ankle isn't really doing much for me there. Oh, there's another good thing I thought about teaching this week. Let's see if I can find a good example of it here. I might have to go back to my round with Luke, but Joe might do it for me in this round too. Because a lot of you guys sprawl out of this half guard, and I had to figure out a way to stop letting that work. That was just a switch. You see me going for the tripod sweep there, the same one right here, but I'm not in a good position for it. I'm straight on with Joe. I'm not on the angle, so I switch to the other leg. Scoop grip, leg around, get him broken down. He actually resists the initial breakdown. I started taking him this way. When he resists it, I quickly switch the other way. Put him down, and then I had pretty early heel exposure. Austin looking for his gogoplata that he loves so much. Joe chasing down that takedown, but not leaving himself in the best spot. I wasn't in a good spot either at first. Joe, if you see this, I don't know if Baker, if you're in the chat or not. You said here when you got on the round, you're like, or got on the ground, you're like, this is not good, or I'm not in a good spot or something. You're not terrible. Like, your legs are both around my legs. I don't have one of your legs isolated. So you need to recognize that. Like, you're not in as terrible of a spot here as you think. Even if I got a leg extended, I couldn't do anything with it. My goal here was to control the legs, so that I could get one isolated, then go on to finishing, you know, a leg attack. Like, my legs are between yours, so there is no isolation here. But if I can retain a grip and then sneak a leg out, right? I open your legs up. You'll see me sneak, I think, my bottom leg. Okay, I take my top leg out and go to your top leg. That's what it was. So that's the difference. Here, you're not really in any trouble. Even like a toe hold, I don't... You're going to extend your leg. You're going to use your second leg. You're kind of safe. Here, now you're in trouble. And a good bit of trouble. I'm where I like to be for knee bars from reverse ashi, where my body weight is on the secondary leg and my hands and arms can work on the primary leg. So I'm weighing this leg down with my body. And I'm going on the attack on this leg. And then now it's really just a matter of trying to stay as connected to you as I possibly could be. See what happened with Austin and Andrew here. Andrew, did you get caught? He's going omoplata. He doesn't have his go-go, but he'll settle for an omo. Yeah, good. Good, good, good. There it is, man. Yeah, that was a really nice omoplata. Yeah, finishing mechanics on this one. Austin's legs are in a great position. You're not getting those unlocked. You know, the best case for you here would be if you were like Jordan size, like we saw him do earlier, where he just like whipped Craig off of him. But no, at this point, Austin's head is really forward, so his weight's leaning forward, so it's going to be hard for you to move him like that. And then Austin makes the necessary adjustment here, getting the hips out in this direction to bring the hand from in front of the body to outside to behind the body. So you see his hips start moving away a little bit. Gets the arm out. Gets the finish. So now, again, I'm in the spot where I don't like. Now, Joe has switched us to where primary leg is down. Secondary leg doesn't have my body weight on it. So I'd really like to go back the other way. So that's what I'm fighting for here. Now he's gotten his secondary leg free, so I really only have one option, and that's to get the knee bar. If I had the secondary leg, I could work like a toe hold threat to try to get the legs open. I think from here I'm pretty tired, so I don't want any more protracted stand-up battles with Mr. Baker. Austin on a head and arm attack here. Joe in a good spot to start exposing my back. Let's look at Austin real quick. So Austin half guard sprawls and gets the knee shield out of the way as Andrew tries to adjust. And now again, Andrew's flat on his back. Austin's chest to chest. This is where he can start focusing on getting the legs free. It looks like he's initiating an upper body attack, you know, with the Katagatame. That's giving him control. He's probably not going to get that submission until he gets that leg free. So you can see he's got everything under control up here. Now he goes on to try to get the leg free once he's got an effective pin. So more of the same fundamental, just a slightly different approach, right? So now he's out of there, and he sees an entry into a triangle, which we all know he loves to look for. He's on a good angle here. Gets a scoop on the leg. Gets a tap. Killer, man. That was a really, really nice setup. He went from half guard, threatening a Katagatame, and then working his way all the way to a triangle. It's really nice. As for Joe here, Joe did great. As I go to attack the leg, he keeps his heel back and I don't even have an Achilles grip, so I'm kind of screwed here. I'm in outside ashi. This is all back exposure. You know, this is classic Gordon Ryan, Felipe Pena, you know, 1 and I think maybe 2. The first 2 times they fought, this is how Pena made his way to the back. So now Joe gets his leg free. My back is exposed, and it's no bueno. Fortunately, there's only 20 seconds on the clock. So here I'll just take getting smashed for a bit. All right, I chided these two to make sure they were on camera, so watch this round. You're feeling sassy after a little vacation, aren't you? All fat and sassy. So I'll be surprised if Luke gets the finish with this, but I can absolutely see him getting the turn this way. Who's going to get the finish? Okay. Yeah. I was going to be surprised if he got the finish here from belly down, like, or I'm sorry, from on his back. Just because there's a lot of space right here. But then you can kind of watch that slowly start to shrink. And this is tough for Nick, right? Because he's trapped in half guard, so he can't really maneuver as well as he needs to get that leg free. And then once that turn happens, Luke's not going to let that grip go. He knows what he has. Oh, dude, I can't show that. Why would you send me that? It's disgusting. You guys should see the picture you just sent me. It's I don't want to get the channel banned. But he is the subject of the photo, I'll just say that much. Colgate boy. Make me. How did Nick get himself there? See what you made me do? You made me miss all this. So it looks like Luke trying to invert. And Nick not hanging out to find out what happens when he does. I don't know what that means, Cole. I can't tell if he sneaks in that hook or not. Joe, okay. Yeah, Nick's got Luke in a little bit of a threat there. Just didn't have the lower body connection to lock up a good strangle threat. Joe. Andrew. It's a tough one. The little forward hips hops right over the cart. I love seeing those. I don't want you to be quieter. I like when you chat. Yeah, so with Nick, damn, dude. Okay, I see what you're feeling. Man, I'd like to see you, Nick, next time, you know, if you find yourself in this position, trust this grip as much as possible. And this is going to sound counterintuitive, but instead of walking yourself towards your opponent, walk yourself away from your opponent and think about going belly down. It's going to seem really weird. It's almost like you're going to north-south. It's like a mix between north-south and a bulldog strangle, if you know what that is. From there, you can get back to a really solid back control. You have to kind of stand up with your opponent, But you have to keep that seatbelt grip the whole time. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure you've probably done it. If you don't, please remind me, and we'll go over it more. Pinball, you know what I'm talking about. Like it is my number one favorite way to retain the back after I lose it. In fact, if my opponents slip past my knee, sometimes I just go full nuclear option and say, all right, have everything, get everything out of here. I'm going to do this move because I have that much faith in it. Some guys will try to, hook with a short hook or a long hook, whatever leg is still retained. I say, go ahead, get your lower body out of here. I'm going to hold the upper body and do the circling around back retention. But then he sees, okay, I'll just take the top armbar. But Luke is ready for that. Got his grip. And then here, man, if you're going to do this, take it all the way to the neck. This is 3/4 armbar territory. Don't just hang out over the arm. Take it all the way to the neck and then cross. So this leg should be against the neck. Cross that leg over top of that. Joe, please remind me. I'll happily show you how to do it. It's such a great way to keep the back position. There we go. Now we see Nick starting to go to this 3/4, but Luke has gotten himself more parallel. If he was more cross-side, Luke would be in some trouble here. But now Luke's going to start breaking out of it. Andrew looks like he goes, despite that slick little mount take, Andrew with the kipping escape. Quick setup for the heel hook here. I mean, that's exactly what you want a kipping escape to look like, man. Kip out and then go right on the heel hook threat. Only criticism, keep that, don't put the heel in the crook of your elbow. Keep it close to your wrist. Minor detail. Joe says, yeah, you got that. Usually try to kick them a bit with the top leg, but I immediately belly down and work back up. Yeah, exactly. Like I'll take that top hook out. If my bottom hook is in trouble, I take the top hook out, kind of crab hook him like from the outside, kick him off of me, and then hit the move. Yeah, probably the exact same thing you're talking about. What up, Stacks? How you doing, bro? At the risk of making my actual students jealous, Pinball, I made you VIP, which means you can post links in the chat and it won't be all starred out. So if you've got a move you want to like reference to everybody in the chat, please share it with us. And you guys can check out whatever Pinball sends. Pinball sent me stuff in DMs and I think in way back in the past was trying to send us some judo content. So whatever you got, man, always feel free to share it with us. You cannot, you, Cole, cannot post links right now. All is well, Stacks. Same to you, bro. Watching some half guard stuff. Can you go back 30 seconds? Let's see. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? A little smother action, or what are we doing? Might be even further. We'll just start from the beginning here. Just making good connection with Joe's legs. Got your leg up the middle. Now your goal is to get that knee elbow connection. Okay. Or not. Or not. This is a very good alternative. So as Joe is taking his knee shield down a little low here, right? So Andrew says, all right, keep it low. I'm just going to pin the knee shield down with my leg, and then why not step right over into mount? He's got this leg way out here past his legs. So we laughed at Andrew earlier when Joe just hopped over his guard right into mount. Here, Andrew repays him the favor and then immediately catches the elbow up above the shoulder line Starts walking to that dangerous high mount we see him working on. So, right before we scramble one off screen. Oh. No, I want to see it. So you got, oh, okay, you guys, yeah, way over there. If this isn't it, tell me. I'll find what you're talking about. Joe trying to wrestle up. That was, man, okay. So I don't know if I could get the full scramble on screen, but this is a nice exchange. So Joe tries to wrestle up on the single, and then the sprawl that you hit here, Andrew, Joe responds to it really, really well with a cutback single, which you'll see he's got his grip on the single leg still closed, but he'll peek his head out towards us, like towards the camera, and then use his head to try to take your hips over and his hands to take your leg under. So here, this is where he gets his head into position. He's got head working into the screen, arms working out of the screen. But then you respond with this basically a crackdown. Not quite at the hips, a little bit high on the ribs. And you just about get to mount with that. That was nice. That was a really, really great technique from him. Really good answer from you to not be sat down with it and to get him off balance. He's so committed to that grip that you know, that over back grip you had for the crackdown was enough to get him off of that move. So now back to where we were. You're going up high, but Joe gets his own little bridging escape here. You guys are scrambly, man. Meanwhile, Nick looking for a deep half, but Luke just kind of squared back up with him. Tell you guys all the time, right in this area, right in this area. That's where I'd like to see you guys. Oh man, a little kind of an Aoki lock attempt here. So this isn't heel hookish because he doesn't have like the leg under control at the hips, but he's got Andrew's heel in front of the chest and more of an inside heel hook kind of threat. This is an Aoki lock from standing, but pretty easy to slip out of that. You might be a perp daddy, but you're not my daddy, so don't ever say that again. All right, so now Jordan and I work on him passing, which he does in quick order on this first roll. Just really sprawling by my legs. Not a good example that I'm looking for what to do when people try to sprawl by your legs. I'll tell him you said that, man. He'll probably like go to work and be like, yeah, I got to go to the main office now, immediately. Enjoy your vacation, man. I hope it's somewhere really nice. Thank you, Andrew. Really, really good stuff tonight, man. Great showing. All right, Mike's gentle. He doesn't beat anybody up. How did Jordan... Do I hit a tripod? Okay, no. Luke over here really giving Jason the business with that collar tie, trying to weigh on him. Remember, even if you're, you might see us and think like, why aren't we moving our opponent around too much? a lot of times just that collar tie to the neck and hanging on him can be enough to disrupt them, especially this late in the evening, right? We're all many rounds in, so Luke can kind of take his time, hang on him. Oh man, let's look at this. It's like Jason just kind of throws him down here a little bit with that underhook, because he doesn't really get the trip, right? Luke kind of steps around the well, ish. I think there's just a lot of shoulder, like upper body pressure that gets Luke off balance enough here. I wish Jason ran him down. Jordan's got me flattened out now. Should be well on his way to getting past my guard here. There he's going for the foot wedge. Forehead to the mat, tripoding up. Just doing enough to get that knee free, slips a knee. Now he can work past. Again, very fundamental. Get him pinned, flat on their back, chest to chest. Goes on his attack on my shoulder. Second time he did that. He did that in the first one too. Not a smother. Definitely just had my shoulder in a terrible position. What do these two jokers do? Luke with the sacrifice. Overhook. Kind of lateral drop. And then now I'll just put to work some of the stuff I've been preaching for the last week and a half to get past Jordan's guard. I think you'll see me work a few different things here too. So right off the bat, go leg up the middle, hand to the hip. I think I pull his legs up to get the knee shield out of the way. So that's something I really like when someone is really focused on their knee shield, staying across my body, reaching to the bottom leg that isn't the knee shield, just taking a little hand right underneath it, always off camera, taking the hand right underneath it, scoop them up and point their knees in the other direction. You're essentially putting them on their back. That lets you sneak your elbow inside. So you'll see me do it right there. Just snuck the elbow in, hand to the hip, head to the far shoulder. Kind of losing my position here. So now with that knee shield on the outside, I decide to settle in, crowd the legs and settle in. I'm still in half guard, but now I've gotten myself chest to chest, flattened out, and I could go on to different options here. He's got this underhook, but I am trying to negate it as much as I can by keeping my head as close to his elbow. You can't see his elbow right now, but if I take myself down the arm, that takes away, it reduces the power of his underhook. It doesn't make it, totally not a threat, but it gives me something to work against. And then now as he hits that big bridge, that's where I hit my pass. That's something, maybe we don't demonstrate that enough, but there have been a lot of cases I've seen this week where the bottom player hits a bridge from here, and I'm not seeing people stepping out, either back stepping and it landing in side control, or like I do here, stepping over into mount. Should be something you make a little bit more automatic. Good reaction from Jordan to try to trap my leg. Now we switch to half guard on the other side. He's trying to go over the back, but a cross face and some pressure puts him back down. What is Lucas doing? Luke doing his own half guard passing. Looks like here he possibly hits a knee cut. No, just steps over. Does he cut? Oh no, I think he just sprawls out of that. Okay. So Luke making his way to mount. Gets the elbow high above the shoulder line. Jason's able to retain his half guard while fighting through that smother, which is no easy feat. Very uncomfortable. And then now I think the rest of this round, or most of the rest of this round, is just demonstrations in mount retention from me, with Jordan trying to move me in one direction or the other. A lot of it, actually, I'll point it out just because I said it to him when it happened, or soon after it happened. Right here, this is when Jordan decides that he's not gonna take it lying down, right? So he tries to hit his escapes immediately as I transition into mount. That's the best time to do it, right before they get settled in. But as he does, he gets hands to my hips. You'll watch, I did the little shoulder move earlier. I do it on my hips here to get his the push less effective, right? So you can see me kind of turning my hips one way, turning them the other way, sinking in, and from there I've settled in, and now he's got a much harder game to play. Moving to modified mount here. Trying to go on the attack, wrap up the gift wrap, maybe take his back if possible. He's not making it easy though. But as his hand goes to my hip, he leaves me an opportunity for an underhook. So just kind of playing different games against him. Whatever grips he makes, I'm trying to use them to my advantage. And if I can't get the advantage, I at least try to disrupt the efficacy of his grips. Luke hitting the Kimura from half guard, which is totally viable. Maybe not against Jason because his arms are huge. I looked for the back take myself. Didn't get it. Almost got the armbar, but Jordan's elbow slipped out just enough to make it safe. Let's see what happens here. Look at what Luke does here. This is clever. So he can't get he can't get into a position that makes it easy for him to pull the shoulder up to get the hand behind the back. So what does he do? He dives and initiates a roll to get the back off of the mat and get the hand behind the back. This is super clever. I'm gonna have to steal this from him. Even the setup, like it's like looking at it now, it's such an obvious setup. He's like pull and dive. And then once he gets that dive, even though he's stuck in half guard, he never got his leg free. He gets the hand behind the back quick enough to where he can get the Kimura. That was a sick little setup, man. I'm gonna have to take notes on that one. Really, really good stuff. And then we got a brief round from Joe here. Tim and Luke. Joe trying to work that passing that we were going over a couple weeks ago in open guard. Stepping in, shooting in for the straight ankle. Again, he's kind of on his back though. This is where you want to tuck the leg behind you, start to favor your side. There we go. That's what I want to see. Now we see Luke moving. Honestly, when I hit straight ankles on Luke, if I can make him move, I'm pretty stoked about it. If he's not moving, then he's not the least bit threatened. So Joe had worked himself into a good spot there. So Joe is not going to get this triangle as long as Luke has that leg straddled. Luke laying on the heavy pressure now, pinning the legs together, which is one of his favorite ways to pass half guard. And he does so with the hop to side control rather than up to mount. And Luke bloodies his nose. Where did it happen? Was that the elbow? It was either there. Not that it matters, but yeah, that might have been it. there or punch it in the arm. Whatever. Luke's a bully. But a bully with some good moves. So, good stuff. Right at the end there, man. I gotta remember to like rewatch this stream. Dude, you really do. Because when you don't, they end up straight ankling you like Andrew did to me. And almost breaking my leg. Meanwhile, Luke left me a nice little bruise on my face in the same day. Anyway, great stuff. Really, really great round. That was a fun Monday. Good rounds from everybody. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving it your all on the mats. I always appreciate it, you guys. Pinball, always good to talk to you. Good to hear from you too, Stacks. If you're lurking, hit the follow button. If you're liking, hit the subscribe button. Use your Twitch Prime to help out the stream and keep us going. Thank you, Joe. Really, really good stuff from you today too, man. Please remind me or Peters. Peters knows the move I'm talking about. You describe it to him, he'll tell you exactly what I like to do. If you want to go over that back retention move that I'm referring to. So next time I see you, we can go over it. Subscribe over at YouTube if you haven't. That's where we will post this for you guys to review. And I think that's about it. I don't know if we haven't really gotten any interest in competition coming up. I think IBJJF is happening in August. We're getting close, so if you guys want to compete, you need to let us know. Make sure that you're up to date on the rules and your divisions and all that stuff. IBJJF also has some registration you have to go through, so best to get that done sooner than later if you're interested. Other than that, I think we'll leave it there. We've got the rest of this week. We'll be wrapping up half guard, and then come next Monday, we will move on to side control. So looking forward to that as always. Yeah, we'll keep it there. You guys, go trim your nails. Go do your laundry. Do not be stinky. Go buy that rash guard that says all those 3 things. And we'll see you guys back on the mats. Take it easy.